Good Sunday morning. Hope you've got a nice cup of coffee. I have. It's lovely. So what is today? Well, we're coming out of Sunday's sandbox delights. Yes. So we have this new thing called a sandbox. Well, reality is it's an echo chamber. Hawkins was in an echo chamber with a bunch of cultists called the Able Danger and the Able Dangerettes, and they call themselves cultists. But let's digress from that a minute. Let's talk about the man behind all of the nonsense. You know, like for instance, this rodent, what's his name? Timothy Homeseth? Yeah, this rodent, this perverse little individual that says how he solved the Joan Benet Ramsey murder, and it was this, and this, and it's exactly the same text and direction of the person that wrote it originally was one David Charles Hawkins, and of course he didn't add the other person's name which has been attacked by this vile individual, which I will not give any information on because this Timothy Homeseth is the worst of the worst, but he's even crap at lying and crap at being whatever doing research if he has to plagiarise somebody else's work. But who is this person, you might ask? Well, it's none other than the bloviated, blowhard, Maximus Bovinus Extremus Excrementus David Charles Hawkins. Well, let's go to Exhibit A. We'll go back to Scholars for 9/11 Truth. It's very important that you understand why I read all these other people's qualifications. Like, for instance, Andrew Johnson, Physics, Computer Science, Software Engineer, English and Theatre of Use of Golf, Mathematics, BM, Professor of Economics, University of California, Santa Barbara there, Instructional Psychology and Technology, Associate Professor there, Mathematics, some Worcester source there, American Studies, Cultural Studies, author of 4 books, Curriculum Instruction, College of Education, East there, Emeritus Professor of Philosophy, Religious Theology, Claremont School of Theology, blah blah blah, Physicists of Alternative Energy, Physics to Optical Materials. These are other people's. So let's go to Mr. David Hawkins. What's his qualifications to put him on Scholars for 9/11 Truth? Forensic Economics, Joint Venture Enterprise, Management and Network Design. Here he is selling himself as a forensic economist, which he's not. We know this because we've proven this. How do we know that he's not a forensic economist? Well, let's go to his latest blog situation here. David C. Hawkins, Reverse Engineering Discovery CSI, Artificial Intelligence AI, we know that's a load of rubbish. Right? By 2019, David Hawkins has become a recognised world authority on the application of deductive logic. Where's the recognition of that? Where is this recognition that David Hawkins has become the recognised world authority on application of deductive logic? This is in his own head. There's no evidence of that at all. This is his own page. This is Exhibit B. His academic record. First class honours degree in mechanical engineering, Cambridge University. Well, how can I disprove that? Quite easily, by going and speaking to the Department of Archives and Modern Manuscripts, Cambridge University Library, West Road, Cambridge, CB3 9DR. Dear Mr. Me, from the Central Student Records in our care, I could provide the following information on David Charles Hawkins, which is in the public domain. He articulated that he is formally enrolled in the University of Michaelmas 1962, having been admitted to Queen's College. He studied for Mechanical Science Tripos as the Honours BA is known, and received a first-class pass in the examination for Part 1 of this Tripos, which I've said all the way along. In 1964, he went on to sit and pass the examination in the Principles of Industrial Management under the auspices of the Faculty of Engineering in 1965. In other words, he did his industrial management under the roof of engineering. He graduated BA on the 26th June 1965. Does it say he graduated with first class honours? Cambridge is peculiar in the sense that there is no overall class is assigned to a degree. Each part of a tripod is self-contained and students are awarded separate results for each part. There is no averaging out for a final degree. Nowadays, students typically need to pass both parts of a tripod to graduate with an honours degree. In the mid-1960s, however, it was still possible to proceed to the honours degree with a pass only in part 1 of the mechanical science tripos. In Hawkins' case, he went on to study for the examination in the Principles of Industrial Management, a qualification which was only open to candidates who had obtained a first or second class honours in part 1 of the mechanical science tripos. The mechanical science tripos was renamed the engineering tripos in 1970. I hope this answers your questions. Kind regards, and I'll omit the name. So what I'll do is I'll pin this email without names, just the body of it, so you can read it for yourself. That is from Queen's College, Cambridge. So there you go, there's evidence there. Yesterday I gave you evidence of another huge lie, which was to do with HESPA. In 1984, Hawkins founded Oilfield Systems Limited UK and 2 years later designed and built HESPA. We know that's a lie because I've shown you that was Brit Oil. I've given you the 2 names of the guys that were involved in that. I've even given you the fact that it's copyrighted to these guys, and the fact that Hawkins also admitted something very important out of this thing. In 1984, he didn't founded Oilfield Systems Limited. He founded Oilfield Expert Systems Limited UK. There's a difference here. He's deliberately taken a word out of that. This is a guy's own company. He's taken that word out of that. It became Oilfield Systems in the 2000s before it was shut down by the American guy who he had a huge problem with. But I want to go a little bit further on to something else. And this one I want you to look at and ask yourself a question here. And I have written to certain people and I'm still waiting to hear back on it, but I thought I'd give you some information here. Easeway. Hawkins designed the elevated, adaptable, zero-emission trackway as regional transportation, real estate and communication network using proprietary plug-and-play monorail with a cool energy from renewable power and proven technologies and business models. www.easeway.org. Don't forget, I will put all of this as evidence. So evidence A will be the Dewberry 9/11 scholars. This will be evidence B, his actual webpage. You cannot say that I'm taking him out of his sandbox. I'm actually going to what he wrote about himself. So let's go to the Wayback Machine. And the Wayback Machine, and I'll also put the Easeway link, which is a totally different site to the one that I have here on the Wayback Machine. And in 2005 it said copyright C 2001-2003 David Hawkins research in Easeway bypass technologies. Oh, so in this one it's stating that Hawkins, well, there's possibility that Hawkins did this. And then you find another one saying copyright 2001 2 years later. That's because he was taken to court over something. That I'm waiting to hear back from. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Because I have also another piece of interesting information of the guy that actually did invent it. So let's say this is exhibit C1 and C2 and C3. Now let's go to exhibit D. Exhibit D will be the light rail and wheel carriage system patent US 5738016A. The inventor, Charles Scott, the very guy that created Easeway. Here it is. And he did this in 1996 and it was first put in for patent. But don't take my word for it. There's a wonderful site as well which I found quite amusing, which was Inside BC. It was just sort of a satirical tongue-in-cheek look at the political landscape, which at that time Hawkins was running for office. But here we have again in this what we will call Exhibit E. Go down the page a bit and we got David Hawkins, forensic economist, Sherlock Holmes of the modern world, has been a passionate and compassionate leader with integrity all of his life. Even as a child, he showed empathy with all forms of life, even pebbles at the bottom of the stream, which he felt didn't have a view. Just think how much empathy Hawkins will be able to show all the substantial rocks and boulders spread liberally underneath the Strait of Georgia. The mind boggles. So we know these people are quite satirical. They're taking it to task here. But what I want to go down is a little bit about this thing to do with easeway. There's something very interesting that's mentioned in here. So we go down a bit further, including elevated trackway that could carry large capacity passenger compartments on compressed air tracks using energy capture from sewage treatment plants. Transport shoot people across Georgia Strait in pods powered by technological farts generated by tourist attractions, sewage treatment plants, sheer genius. Blah, 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 said Twigg, citing easeway consultant David Hawkins. Consultant. Not creator, not inventor, not pioneer, consultant. That in itself should say, whoa! So now I've taken from his actual page 3 items out already that I can prove categorically. So this guy has credibility issues beyond any normal person can see. This guy's got credibility issues. We have proven he has bloviated his own CV and lied. And yet we have the ignominious marching around of young Jason through New York to say, how dare Scott Bennett lie to him because he got a third-party email, and yet he's got a guy that he has every Friday lying. Sandbox, no. Echo chamber, yes. Hawkins is a compulsive liar. He's a Walter Mitty. And if you cannot see now that I've not only proven by his own wording that he's lying by giving you evidence, what more do you need? We've shown that Christine Marcy did not create the Civil Service Reform Act of 1978. We have shown that Christine Marcy wasn't responsible for the creation of the SES. We have shown Christine Marcy could not have possibly done JPATS. We have shown that Christine Marcy was just a government worker, although she was in management. And she worked her ass to get there. We've also exposed the lie of Mendon Hall, which they tried to spin. The fact that Mendon Hall happened in 2011, not 78. Oh, it gets better. We're the people that exposed that Hawkins does not hold any qualification in forensic economy, and it's dropped. It's dropped. But he keeps it on his page. Hawkins launches the Citizen Association of Forensic Economists in British Columbia 2003, a coffee shop-based asset tracking network. This guy is a compulsive liar. He is not a forensic economist. He is not anything more than a sad sack manager who failed at many things. But he's still lying and causing absolute mayhem where he goes, and it needs to stop, because people like this sad sack, this vermin called Himothy Homsef, is utilising Hawkins' own shite bullshit to attack people with. Shocking, absolutely shocking. It has to stop, people. Upon that, have a nice Sunday.